welcome to Spanky's Radio Behind the Scenes Live, man. So, excuse me for coughing like this. I hit some grass and it hit weird, man. So, like I said, this is behind the scenes. So, this isn't a puppet show per se, as is, um, this, by the way, I'm wearing a hat because I decided not to shave or get my hair cut until surgery, so it's getting rather untamed. Anyway, so we're setting up for, puppet shows and shit. And I just wanted to say, hey, peace and love. I don't even know if anybody's paying attention to this or not, man. But like I said, this is behind the scenes content. So if you stop in, say hi. I'll try to, um, I need to do something here. I need to move this monitor. There we go. So I could see, just on the off chance anybody comments, man. So this week on Spanky's, gosh, this coughing, man. Hang on for a second. Let me turn my mic off so I can get this out of my system. So this week, we're planning a continuation with our Spankies. And I'm pretty gosh darn excited because we've got some pretty special sets coming up, man. This is weird. I'm pretty high right now. So a lot of this behind the scenes content is going to be me vegging. In a second, I'm going to pick up my guitar. We're going to try to play a backtrack to this video, man. But I thought I'd take this chance to say, hey, if you stumble on this, I'm real curious what you think. It's kind of my gauge. How insane have I decided to let myself go? And what I mean is, I've said this ad nauseum, the impetus for this puppet show, which was started right around the pandemic in 2020, was a way to kind of distract myself from the pain I was in physically and all the other bad stuff that was currently happening and on the horizon. None of it I had any control of, and none of it had absolutely anything to do whether I was a good or bad person, So that's how it started, but gosh darn it, I got so much help out of it. I figured maybe there's a way to I don't know, make people aware, get people involved in this that are kind of in my situation. I'm too high to really put a lot of it into words. It's a bunch of hippie stuff. It's the kind of hippie stuff that gets talked about on the Art of Floundering podcast. This is pure filth over here, man. I like to think it's good filth, but it is filth either way. And it becomes rather interesting. You see, I'm 57. A lot of people think I could pass for 56, but I'm 57. And this is what I do, is I create Spankies currently for not many people. And that used to be okay, and it still sort of is, because I really am not looking for personal, notoriety. But now I'm wanting it to get a little attention. Because reality's starting to set home with me. I'm like, Jesus, balls Christ, man. This is about all I can do these days. And if it's all I can do, I'd like to make sure it's useful, right? It doesn't have to cure anything. Is it is it a useful distraction? Is it whatever, right? But is it useful? And right now, it's self-serving, so I'm trying to see what do I have to do to balance my need to be a fuck up in my desire, my drive to be a pot junkie, and balance that out with doing good content. You see, uh, I do the pot. you know, Truthfully, it is rather peachy keen, but it does get old because I'm doing it for back pain. And there are times where, I have to get super duper peachy keen high, man, and just to be able to distance myself from the pain. And when I do content in that state, I feel it's rather awesome. I'm sure it's not. So I'm trying to balance that with doing, that need to get on a different plane of marijuana type high, man. And as well as, produce decent content. I didn't mean to turn this into a monologue. Um, the quick disclaimer, I promise, I'm not going to turn this channel into this, but when the things I might say cross a certain line, I feel it's Spanky's behind the scenes content. And since I've been doing a lot of work, so I thought maybe I've talked about this before, man. But I thought maybe what I would do is bear with me since since we all have this time together. I'd like to walk you through something if you don't mind. So bear with me. How much longer? I'm only going to do this for a couple minutes because I'm going to do this on the real podcast, man. I'm glad this is behind the scenes. What I'm doing is I'm pulling up an animation. It's not a new one, but it kind of gives a visual of what I am attempting to talk about here, man. And there it is. This is damn it, I'm so sorry about the coughing. I don't like smoke, man. This is an adult establishment in a town called Valley Brook. And Valley Brook is between the suburban dream and the hustle and bustle of a modern American cosmopolitan city. Specifically, it's between Norman, Oklahoma, where the University of Oklahoma is, and Oklahoma City, which, believe it or not, is a quite livable city, and it's actually quite nice. Now, Valley Brook is in between those two spots. Christ, it's between a town called Moore. In other words, it's a nothing little spot off of exit 59. And most people ignore it unless they're up to no good. Because in order to stay afloat, the quote town of Valley Brook has about 4 metal buildings that claim they're adult nightclubs, a pawn shop, a liquor store. What appears to be a rather well-funded police department. I mean, for such a small town, I think the population of actual residents in Valley Brook, actual residents, maybe 300. And the police department has got some really nice toys, man. So, so this place here was for sale. and it just was for sale for years. I had this crazy idea, man. Welcome. We've got somebody that's listening to behind the scenes. You know, they didn't want to listen. But I had this crazy idea. Let me paint a picture for you, man. The family sitting around the table. Let me give you a bigger picture of this. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can do it as a puppet show. Let me see if I've got easy access here. We can try. First. Alright, here we go. Golly gosh, says a rather perplexed Karen. It's Sunday. What are we going to do? Well, Karen, why don't you head to the Valley Brook special family friendly puppet theater, dude? And Karen, Chad, and the whole family head to Valley Brook. Anyway, I don't have the energy to go through it. This is behind the scenes. But go back and listen to that and get on board, because what we're trying to do, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. And see, I'm sitting right now, which is victory. This is the most. Being able to sit is a measure of whether or not I'm having a good day. And so I could sit for a couple hours a day, and that's it. So, in order for me to pull something like what I'm talking about in my current state's obviously going to require help. But I keep thinking that if people would catch on to Spankies and there'd be something that maybe, just maybe, I could pull this off. Because I want to be able to go into a neighborhood like a Valley Brook and take one of their abandoned buildings that they can't seem to unload, purchase it, and transform it into, now it's fluid. Keep in mind, things are fluid, especially with creativity. It would be a creative incubator. But that would start with like a studio for me podcasting, and more importantly, it would become where people could come on in and create their own vibe, dude. I'm not going to get all carried away. I got a whole rap about this. But I want to transform a neighborhood that people forgot about into a vibrant neighborhood known for cutting edge creativity. And in the process of creating that cutting edge creativity, the people that were once forgotten about are now engaged and have a voice. In addition, they're also getting marketable job skills. All of this can be accomplished. And I feel we must accomplish it. With that said, that's what I'm working towards, man. When I got, this is going to sound so freaking hippie. When I got hurt, in 2016, there was a 3-year period from 16 to 19. It was literally touch and go. So all that time's a freaking wash because I was just trying to stay alive. But, after I started having to struggle less to just make it through a day alive, and, reality started setting in. What life after was going to look like was a lot of pain and a lot of immobility. But I started realizing how much I ignored in my 50 plus years. And, part of this recovery or whatever you want to call it, for me, has to include some way of try. I'm open to suggestions, but some way of not talking but trying with actions to help others in this situation I currently find myself in, which is not a good time. And others have it much harder. And, it's a struggle. I'm not trying to be a bummer, but it's a struggle. And so, through the silliness of this puppet show, I discovered not only a distraction, but a bunch of things. And I thought it's hard to explain unless you're in one of these situations. But being able to be a part of something that is fun, where there's laughter, and you're a part of creating that laughter, and not only does it not require you to change anything about the way you currently have to live, but the tools that you would need in order to fully integrate, with remote technology, PCs, the kind of chairs for people with my condition need, all those things, man, to be a part of this, to be a part of this community of, quote, misfit toys, be it a citizen of a Valley Brook or someone else. There's so many, we can point to so many different segments of our society that are ignored. And I'd like to flip that script. And I can't do that alone. Now, I could have never done it alone. But before my accident, I thought I could. Now I know. And especially now, like I said earlier, I'm in a situation where physically, I can't do a lot of heavy lifting. Okay. And so, something like studio setup and all these things, that's a lot of, work. And so, but I'm committed to figuring out a way. And once again, this is you eat the elephant one bite at a time, man. I'm just spitballing, but I had this whole rap where I put together a presentation. I was very high, but I called it presentation to a venture capitalist, man. And I put it up there and I said, hey, you see, I'm in an unconventional situation. And the only path to relevance or being thought of as a viable part of society as opposed to a burden is unconventional. And I may be completely wasting my time. But somehow I think I'm on the right track, man. I keep hoping that some good hearted person will cross paths with this that's good at social media marketing and can help me tighten that up, man. Because I just like creating a madness. I don't really want to, but there, anyway. So, I hope you enjoyed Spanky's radio, man. Once again, this was behind the scenes, not a puppet show, right? I don't want to, create. But we are going to have a lot of new episodes dropping this week. I hope that you will like, follow, subscribe. Also, while I have plans to incorporate all the characters, if there's one in particular that you'd like to see more of, or see again, or whatever the proper phrase is, let me know. My favorite is all of them. It depends on the mood. Well, right. We'll go ahead and close out with something. Spanky. Did you clean your room, man? Spanky. Are these your grades? Spanky. Spanky's from what the fancy book learning types call urban blight. Mom got hooked on meth, left years ago. Pops is a degenerate drunk and hooked on gambling and barely gets by. Driving that broke down cab, Spanky doesn't have a choice, and everybody lets him know it's Spanky Ewins. Ewins is a knucklehead. Hey there, Spanky. Did you even look for a job, man? Spanky. Is this your grass? Gee golly whiz! Spanky. Peace and love.